what it means to be an American. America is freedom, and freedom is special and rare.
We, the people of this great nation.
The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
We, the people of this great nation.
What the fuck, America? Can we catch a break? Apparently, at some point, we always feel we're almost getting to the truth. We might just get some justice. But then, bam, they just ignore the evidence. Well, as you all know by now, the judge in Nevada, which I was really counting on that, said it wasn't substantial evidence. Apparently testimonials and people under oath, even after they were interrogated pretty much by Hillary Clinton's legal team, which is Biden's legal team now, apparently 20 binders with hundreds of pages was not enough evidence. What is enough evidence at this point? At this point, are we going to get a fair shake? Is America going to actually know the truth of what happened in 2020? Are we just going to live in a country that's no longer America? Because that's what it's starting to feel like. Right now, the world is upside down. And we've got Joe Biden saying weird shit, as he always says. Very common for Joe Biden to be saying all these odd and weird things that he says every single time. And it's fine and dandy and nobody says anything. I mean, I literally saw an interview where Tapper was literally interviewing Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And Joe Biden responded with, I'll be getting a disease or something. It didn't make any sense what that man said. And then Tapper also asks Kamala Harris, so is he going to be the second dude or the second man? What fucking journalists ask these dumbass questions? Like, honestly, like, what is this? Like, what are we going to be playing the little don't ask tough questions with Joe Biden? Are we going to just be, it was hostile with Donald Trump. It's obviously going to be hospitality with Joe Biden. This is an absolute joke. What's happening in our country, and my fellow Americans, this is no joke. This is embarrassing. We are an embarrassment right now. And this country is just out of control. Like, they're ignoring all the evidence. They're ignoring where they used to call whistleblowers patriots, apparently only when they're against Donald Trump. They now call, they just ignore it. When are we going to get justice? Are we going to get justice? Or are they just going to steal the elections? Sidney Powell, so far all I see her is rallying up a bunch of people. I haven't seen any fucking evidence. Sidney Powell, I'm losing faith in you. Gonna be honest. You say you're releasing the crake and you haven't released shit. I mean, let's be real here. I mean, time is of the essence. Time is of the essence. We know the fraud is there. Almost every American feels it. Whether you're Democrat or Republican, you know this election was robbed. Everybody knows it. Everybody feels it in their core. The left won't admit it because it benefits them. And it's just sad. It's sad. There was some good things that passed. The House passed a legislation on marijuana, which I thought was a good thing because for the most part, most states are already going along with it. I believe Mitch McConnell's probably going to block it off or has blocked it off. So, I mean, that was fairly good news, but we always knew that was on the table for a while. So when did you ever imagine, if you would have told this to somebody 6 years ago, that 2020 we would have lockdowns, that governors would be acting like dictators and telling you, and we would be wearing masks everywhere we go? People would tell you, bro, you've been watching way too many movies. And we're actually living that right now. It's insane. It's really insane. If you really think about everything that's happening, It's crazy. It doesn't even feel real. It doesn't feel real. It feels like we're living in some sort of twilight zone, and we're just trapped in there, and it keeps just spinning and spinning. Now, I said on my stream earlier today when I was streaming with the liberals, I said that if Donald Trump loses the court case in Nevada, that most likely I would pretty much lose pretty much all hope, because I mean the Republicans themselves said that this was one of their strongest voter fraud cases, and yet it got rejected. So then I started digging a little bit, right? I was curious. I was like, let me get a little information about this so-called the guy that apparently rejected rejected the court case, right? So then I start doing a little digging, right? And then what do I find, right? What I find is that he was actually appointed by Obama, which again, it's odd, to say the least. It is odd. It's extremely odd. But shows you that I don't think there is an avenue here for Donald Trump. I just think he's battling something that's just above and beyond. Like, it's just something he's not going to be able to fight. As much as I hate to say it, the American people have his back. But it doesn't feel, it just doesn't feel like it's going anywhere. I mean, they don't even give the effort to at least try to investigate these things. They don't even try to investigate these things. We know fraud is there. So to pretty much tell you, I'm feeling right now down, as a lot of Americans are. I'm trying to be hopeful, but I'm trying to be realistic. Do I think Trump has a chance? My hopes tell me yes, he does have a chance. The reality is, I think he's fighting something that's I mean, these people are doing fraud right in our faces. They're not ashamed to do it. The media pretty much doesn't even care about their reputation anymore. CNN can care less. I mean, they don't care. They won't even look at the allegations that are being brought up about the fraud, about the election fraud. I mean, this is bizarre. It's bizarre. Like, I never thought I would live in a country that doesn't feel like America. This isn't America that we're living in right now. This is some sort of banana republic or something. This is not America. I mean, since when have you ever seen something so bizarre that you see countless times people bringing evidence to the table, bringing so many things to the table, and yet they just ignore it. They just ignore it. They don't even acknowledge the existence of it. The Hunter Biden story was a perfect example. Yet they'll make news about Ivanka Trump being deposed on some bullshit, supposedly scheme that she didn't charge the same price. Whatever, some dumb court hearing, and that's what the left has been reporting on all day, that she was that they did a deposition on her for 5 hours and this and this and that. Yeah, why aren't we doing that with Hunter Biden? Because his charges are I mean, you're talking about $175,000 that she charged she charged I believe it was the inauguration committee or something. I mean, seriously, that's what we're talking about. I mean, now that's what we're talking about right now. When have you lived in a country where they're threatening the sitting president that as soon as he comes out of office, they're going to try to indict him? Have you ever seen that in any country? Where they're making threats have you ever seen that in America? Where they're literally threatening a president because they hate him so much? You know what? I fucking hate to use such a strong word, but I'm just so sick and tired of CNN, the left, the uniting, the this. You know what? Fuck you. We don't want nothing to do with you. You've treated us like shit for years. You've ridiculed us. You've called us all sorts of names, and you go and think that you can take the higher ground, you're not above us. In my eyes, you're a piece of shit. And that's the reality of it. That is the reality of it. You're hypocrites. You're phonies. From mayors that put businesses out of restaurants out of businesses, but then they go and they do whatever they want because they're still getting paid, to anchors like Chris Cuomo, who's a fucking joke, who thinks he's a tough guy because he takes a little bit of steroids and works out and gets a little roid rage and every once in a while gives an emotional talk about, oh my God, we have to wear these masks because it's a must, but then gets caught in his own apartment building in Manhattan not wearing a mask and getting complaints from other people that live in the same building. Or let's not forget, he faked his own quarantine. That's another one. These people are hypocrites. They don't even follow their own rules. You know why? Because they look at us like peasants. And that goes for you too, Democrats and liberals. They look at you like peasants. Look at what they did to you. You know what they did to all of you guys? They basically bent you over and they fucked you in the ass. You voted hoping that there was going to be some progressives in there. No progressives. No progressives. Good job, Joe Biden. You just showed your true colors. But they won't admit it. They won't admit it because apparently the cabinet picks that Joe Biden picked are the Avengers. The Avengers, they're going to save the day. They're going to save us from a great economy. They're going to save us from a pandemic that we have a vaccine that's going to be available in about a week. They're going to be the saviors. Saviors of what? The fuck do we need saving from? We had an America First agenda. It was working. And these swamp creatures did everything possible to end it. And they did it. They did it. Trump has an uphill battle. It's an uphill battle. That's the reality. And that's the reality that we all have to, at some point, accept. I know that hope we need hope. And we like to believe that Trump has something up his sleeve. And I think just like you guys, okay? I love Trump as my president. I thought he brought out the best in this country. Although the left thinks he brought out the worst, I think he brought out the best out of this country. I had never seen in my lifetime, nor do I think I'll ever see in my lifetime, so much patriotism since President Trump's been in office. And unfortunately, the America First agenda apparently doesn't work for the Democrats. And they'd rather put other countries first and their families first and forget about America. We go in the back burner. So it's sad but true. I'm just as equally frustrated as all you guys out there, but it's unfortunately we can't do anything about it. It is what it is. We can go out there, we can protest, we can riot, we can loot, we can do the same thing BLM, Antifa, and all these people do, but we don't because we're above that. We're above that. We are a different class of people. We're classier than they are, although they try to claim they are. We have standards. We have morals. And they don't. So we're Americans. We're proud patriots. We love this country. And we love our president. That's why it hurts us so much to see him lose. And that's why it's hurting us so much to see an election that's so obvious that it's been robbed. And no one is there for us. Trump is by himself fighting. The people are behind him, but no one else. Not even the government. Can you believe that shit? In what country do we live in when Bill Barr doesn't even come out and say that there's fraud when we all know that it's there? I mean, where judges are siding with political parties instead of the justice and instead of trying to find justice, they're siding with political parties. They're ignoring the Constitution. What world are we living in? Are we going to lose this country? I'm telling you, anybody that's listening to me from Georgia, you best get out there and vote. Our country depends on it. That's the only firewall we have. And I know that it sucks because they're not the best two picks. Lord knows that there's a lot of corrupt Republicans. But you know what? They at least are much more saner than what the other side has to offer. I just find it interesting, you know. I just find it that apparently the Secretary of State claims that they investigated that video. They investigated in rapid speed, may I add, and that yeah, that was normal. That what happened in Georgia with the suitcases, that's normal protocol. I don't know where anywhere it's normal to have black briefcases or suitcases hidden under a table when everybody walks out and you pull them out, and then exactly at that time, and these are reports that are coming out, Joe Biden jumps in Georgia. I mean, it's ridiculous. That Secretary of State, he can go fuck himself. He is a lousy leader. Well, I mean, he's not even a leader. He's just a. This guy is he's either they got something on him or he's either being paid by somebody or something, because I have never seen a man want to make sure his own party loses. I've never seen something like this. A guy that bent over to the left and allowed them to change the rules completely at their discretion, however they want, to make it easier for them to commit fraud. It's sad. It's sad. And I know a lot of Americans out there, but you know what? We got each other. We got each other's backs. We know who we are. Americans know who we are. I run into Trump supporters all the time, and we know it. We just know, just by the way we carry ourselves, by the way we act, by the way we know who's who. And we know when the time comes, if the time comes, we know where we stand. And we were always remember this. These people that voted, they're going to regret it. And know this, the one that's going to have the last laugh is going to be us. Because if Donald Trump does not get reelected, believe me, we were on the right side of history. We just gave up one of the greatest presidents to an old senile man. A typical politician that has zero accomplishments in 47 years. Wow. And if 80 million people actually voted for Joe Biden, then boy, we got 80 million dumbasses in this country. I say it how I see it. We got 80 million dumbasses in this country. But I usually like to subtract about 30 million to calculate Joe Biden's real, and I think I'm giving him a little too much. I subtract about 30 million between fraud and dead people, so about 50 million people actually voted for Joe Biden. But nevertheless, I think they're going to get away with it. A large part of me feels like they're going to get away with it. Sad day in America. I hate to end a Friday like this, but it's just, I was really hoping to hear something that would supercharge me. Like, I thought Nevada was going to be something good. I saw the giant evidence they brought to the table, and yet again, we got shot down. I mean, it's just like time and time again, we continue to fight and we continue to fight, and witnesses keep coming up and they're just dismissed. They're dismissed. This should teach us a valuable lesson that none of these people care about us. None of these people look at us as equals. None of these people, I mean, if somebody makes an accusation under oath and you're an American and you're willing to put yourself out there like that, and the justice system won't even pay attention to you, the court system, the journalists, they don't pay attention to you, we're living in sad times. But believe me, we will live to see better times. Till the next time, guys, God bless you, God bless your family, and God bless this beautiful country we call America. And I hope that we will continue to call it America. And I hope it will remain a beautiful country. I pray for this country every single day, because boy, it needs it.
It's Judge Janine. I want to thank you for listening to the Republican Nation podcast. It's an important podcast to listen to because the Republican Nation is all about the Constitution, the First Amendment, freedom of speech, freedom
Preach,
of
girl,
religion,
preach.
the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, and all of those rights that are important to all of us. We've got to make sure that America doesn't lose any of those rights and that we stay true to our founding fathers' intent.
Damn right.
So thanks again for listening to the Republican Nation.